Welcome, everyone, to another amazing insight from our PWT mentor experts. Today, we have the amazing Jackie Lapin, who has the ability to get you in front of as many people as possible, which is the name of the game. So, let's get started.
Empowering women on a global scale. Welcome to Powerful Women Today with Carolina Billings. Powerful Women Today is on a mission of inclusion, rewriting his story to include her story, and empowering, raising, and amplifying women's voices with professional speaking, publishing, original podcasting, and web TV. And now here's your host, the founder of Powerful Women Today, Carolina Billings.
Welcome, Jackie, coming from what I hope is sunny California, because it's certainly not sunny Toronto for a couple of days. So, how are you today?
I'm terrific, sweetheart. It is always lovely to be here with you, and you are so inspiring, and I love the work that PWT does in the world.
Well, thank you. Well, that's lovely. Thank you so much. Today we're going to speak about something that is super important. And for the life of me, I don't quite understand. I don't want to say reluctance, but there seems to be hesitance. And that is to actually get in front of as many people as possible. And the best way to do it is through the programs that you offer, and which is speaking. And we're going to talk about virtual speaking, why is really so powerful, and podcasting. So today we're speaking about how to get speaker and podcasting bookings. So Jackie, this is your baby.
Well, certainly, I believe that if you have an empowering message to deliver and you have some knowledge that can change people's lives, you're really obligated to deliver that message rather than hold it in or just teach a few people. And so, you need to basically strategize where you want to spend your time in marketing. And I think that there's a couple of different things that people should be aware of. One, you don't have to get out on major stages right away. This is a speaker journey, and you can
Mhm,
simply start with podcasts.
mhm.
Podcasts are a great way to get booked, get out, deliver your message. There are over, I heard yesterday, 3.5 million podcasts out there at this point.
Yikes.
And so you can find ones that are amenable to you, that are a match for your message easily. And so what does it take to get booked on a podcast? Well, it takes a great pitch letter. And a
Mm,
pitch letter is can be up to a page and a half. And the information that you're really giving is the lead paragraph is all about what is the hook? Why put you on the air? Are you doing something that's breakthrough or that it impacts people's lives, that is going on in the world? Do you have a great hero's journey story? Is there some problem that you solve that people are suffering from? And then you talk about what your credentials are. What is the
mm,
what is
mm.
the what is your experience that qualifies you to be this expert? And it could be a book you've written. It could be a
Experiential. It could
yeah,
be something, sometimes like yeah, I happen to be an academic, and I place, a lot of value on being a lifelong learner. But I have to tell you, I have witnessed firsthand how people who've gone through an experience end up surpassing the experts in knowledge,
absolutely.
because
And
it's personal to them. Is personal. So
well, and
never
a lot,
underestimate the power of you know self anecdote, or self experienced messaging.
no question, many thought leaders have built their businesses, very successful businesses, based on a body of knowledge, based on what they've experienced and
Sure.
how they have overcome whatever it is.
That's right.
You don't have to have specialties and degrees and all that. It's great when you do, but that's not what makes you qualified. What makes you qualified is what you know based on what you have experienced, what you've learned, what you've practiced.
Mhm.
So yes. And then the last part of that letter is really, what are you going to deliver? What is the information? What are the takeaways? What's going to be the outcome for that audience?
Mhm.
But there's also another tool that you can use, which is a podcast introductory sheet, which is, beautiful, glossy with, some information about your bio, a couple of testimonials, and the topics that you speak on. So those are the two ways that you can get on with podcasts. And there are lots of ways to find your podcast. If you're going to go try to do this on your own, there's lots of resources out there that'll match you to podcasts.
Mhm.
We at Speakertunity have a directory, a subscription service that will feed you 40 podcasts every month, either life enhancing, life changing, or business to business.
Wow.
The other way is that, if you want it done for you, we do a Conscious Media Relations, my second company. We do radio podcast tours where we introduce authors and leaders to 9,000 radio shows and podcasts at the same time with a minimum guarantee of 30 interviews. And we've done that for many of the
That's
great
great for
brands.
books, for like any launch of a new
Exactly.
service, or a new something that you want to share with the world. Now,
Exactly.
before we go too far, I want to touch on two things that you just said that are quite powerful. We are not speaking of going on stages and podcasts with a sales pitch. This is not selling online. This is you sharing the knowledge, the transformation, the possibilities, the clarification. Why does it matter? Because the last thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, we host a lot of podcasts and a lot of events, and the last thing you want is somebody coming off the gate and, oh yeah, my programs, and this is, yes, we understand that you have a program that crystallizes what you're speaking, right? But let me get to know you. Let me get to know your message first. So, really, it's about presenting a conviction. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely, it is. And it's the sales will come directly off the hey, was this a value to you? Give
Yeah,
them value first, and then you can say, I have something, and here's the next place to go.
correct.
Um, and
Correct.
so that's what. And another thing that I want to point out about podcasts is, if you're nervous and concerned about getting on stage, if you give the host 20 questions, and it's actually replicates your signature speech and what you want to deliver on stage, by the time you've delivered it 20, 30, 40 times to a podcast, you're going to be so much more confident and ready to get on a live stage, because
Correct.
you'll have your sound bites down, you know how it flows, you just don't have the questions in the middle.
Yeah. And sometimes it takes a while. It takes a while to get your tempo. It gets a while to get your message. It takes a while to say it in a manner that it engages and connects with the public. So I came across a quote that says, before you quit, do it 100 times. So, at the beginning, it's going to feel clunky. You may feel, or you may discover that you're a natural at it, right? But if it feels a little bit clunky, if it feels a little bit, I don't know, self conscious or anything like that, do it 100 times. By the 101st time, you might even come to miss it, right? The communication and the service, really, of sharing a solution. And the second thing that you said that is extremely powerful is make sure that the transformation is clear. What will you know by the time you invest these 20 minutes, these 10 minutes, these 5 minutes? What little nugget will you hopefully come away with?
The
Right?
takeaways and the outcomes. And
Yeah.
when you're introducing it, writing the title of what you're going to speak on is really quite critical,
Mhm.
because it really needs to promise an outcome.
Yeah.
Because people aren't going to come and listen unless they understand that there is going to be something on the other side that's going to better their lives. So everything has to be geared to that.
And you know what? A lot of people, and this is just my, quirky way of living. A lot of people begin with the title, and then you begin to work your speaking cues, your, markers, right? Which you need to show up prepared. Like you don't ad hoc a guest spot or a speaking engagement. But I'm a huge chat GPT, generative AI, if it's not chat GPT or Flavor, there's so many now. Sometimes write your speaking points, write what you want to talk about, and then do a reverse engineering as to what is the best topic for this talk. Because you may find that you spoke about a hook, right? In a hook, it sounds a little marketing, so it sounds a little, prepared kind of thing. So it should be, but it really needs to have an emotional connection. So brainstorming that first impact, right? That first introduction is key, is absolutely key. And that is how you get your bookings. And that's why it's so hard for people to do it alone, to actually try to, get booked on your own. So tell us what, in your experience, is the success rate of people trying to get bookings on your own and the time that it takes to make it happen.
Well, those are in direct correlation.
Okay.
Because you can sit around and wait for them to show up. You can dabble in it, or you can make a concerted effort. Now, you obviously need a great pitch letter, and if you're not comfortable with that, then you need to have somebody help you with that. But if you actually make a concerted effort and you know that you've got a powerful pitch letter, if you keep chopping away at it and keep getting it out there and offering it to more people, you're going to get booked, period. It's easier. I'm going to admit this. It's going to be easier in podcasts and summits, virtual summits, than it will be for stages. Stages. The other thing about podcasters is they usually have a spot once a week, once a month, whatever it is. Speaking engagements are, more, I should say, less current timely, because they usually are booking 3 to 4 to 5, 6 months out. If it's a meeting, then they're only booking once a month. And if it's a conference, it could be once a year.
That's right.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot more challenging for you to find those gigs and to get booked, because the competition is going to be greater. I am not saying you shouldn't do that. Start with local meetings. Local meetings are the fastest and the easiest way to get booked. Organizations you belong to, chambers of commerce, things like the philanthropic groups, your service groups, Rotaries, et cetera, like that. Meetups, all of those things are going to be relatively low-hanging fruit and a great place for you to get your feet wet, to go in, get comfortable on stage, get to the point where you have an offer that's clicking with people, know that the pricing is right. I mean, it's a great place to test, and then you start looking at bigger venues associated with conferences.
There's also corporations too. People love to have a lunch and learn, speaker that comes in, and that's a great way to address your niche audience as well, right? Just sample it. And I have to tell you a personal tip, like talk about learning from experience. What I missed out in my early speaking, engagements, which is pre-pandemic, there were a lot more live. We're just beginning to get our groove back on that. But is that I would not have someone recording my presentation, right? And yes, the event will have their own recording, but they're doing their own recording for their own, information, right? In their own promotion. But you should always have someone record your entire presentation, because then you can always use it afterwards. Yes, go ahead.
Or you can also negotiate beforehand with an organization that's recording it to purchase or get that video. And so that way you don't have to
purchase it, because it would be from a professional that they've hired, opposite to someone just picking up the phone and recording you. But don't miss out on that opportunity, because there were so many times that I was on stages that I just didn't record it. And you can always repurpose that material.
Well, and a corollary to that is don't miss out on the testimonials that you should be getting at the time that you are speaking. You
That's right.
need to get testimonials from the people who have booked you, not just from the stage, which is great as people have heard you, not just from your coaching clients. You need testimonials from people that said, we brought her in and she knocked our socks off. And don't wait to do that. Do that either on site or the next day. And you can do it, get a video if you can. And if not, ask them to send you a written one. But you don't want to wait for the enthusiasm and the passion for what you did to wear off, because it'll be reflected in the testimonial.
And that's a great point. So what would, in your experience, make someone a good corporate citizen? I knew a good podcast guest.
Podcast, yes.
Yeah, a podcast, or speaking for that matter, for for a
really
virtual
are two
summit.
different things.
Okay, let's
but certain things are obviously similar. You come prepared, you know your material, you show up on time, you deliver everything they need on time. With a podcast, you don't oversell. Same thing on stage, you don't oversell. You follow the lead of the host, but you don't wander with your questions all over the place. You keep it contained. You give them 20 questions because one, it's your roadmap that you want them to follow. Mm-hmm. And two, you don't want to get stuck with questions that you don't want to answer. Mm-hmm. And 90% of them will follow your guidance. You want to give them a media kit in advance. That media kit should have, a bio on you, your 20 questions, your on-air introduction that they read when you come on. When we do ours, we also include what's called a Learn More page. These are for our radio podcast to our clients. That last page we call the Learn More page. And that Learn page is in bullet point how the public can engage you. Where can they buy your book? Where can they get your coaching program? Where can they get your freebie? What are your social media links? What is your website? So you need to capsulize all that so that
make it easy for them.
Exactly.
Make it, and not easy like they were, just make it efficient for them to do business with you. But I was thinking more along the lines of promotion, co-promotion, right? Yes. What are some etiquette, some good co-promoting etiquette that you would recommend?
Well, the first thing is that your host will probably say, please, here's either the link to promote it in advance or it's posted, go promote it to your community.
That's right.
Don't ignore that. Yeah. You absolutely need to do your part of it so that they feel that you are being a good partner and contributor. And one of the things that can come out of that is if you do this consistently and well, and you generate a reputation, people will come back to you and invite you to their summits, or they'll come back to you and say, let's do a joint venture partnership. If they know that you're going to great efforts to support them, you're going to build a relationship that develops other opportunities in the future. Yeah. It's really vitally important to play your role and make the host feel that this is a collaborative effort.
Being a good team is a team effort, really. Even though we're all independent, right? We are, like you said, coming together for this collaboration as co-partners, right?
Well, and don't minimize that. For if you're on somebody's stage, where there are two reasons to promote when you're on somebody's stage. One, you are, in many cases, it's another thought leader, and they want you to help them put butts in seats. Mm-hmm. So, that's one of the reasons they're putting you on their stage. So when you're doing an event, you want to make sure that you tell the world about it to help fill it, in many cases when it's an open event as opposed to a closed event. And the other reason is You want to show your community that you're a superstar out there speaking so that people think, oh, I know somebody that would love to have her on the stage, or I've got an organization that she would be great for this. You want to put it in front of people's faces that you're speaking and that you're in demand, and that'll lead to more speaking engagements.
It's public relations, really, in just being a good event partner. Jackie, I could speak to you all day, because these are, although, it's like common sense is hardly common, these are foundations that really we need to be reminded of, because a lot of people just forget. We all need a little reminder. We're all busy, right? So remember, if you are in any kind of a guest in a podcast, or any kind of somebody's giving you the opportunity to share your message, be a good event partner. So you have a gift for our friends today, and we'll put the link in the comments, but would you like to tell our friends about it?
I believe that every leader on whatever stage that you need to be on, podcasts or summits or live stages, and even virtual stages, you need something that's going to get them into your opt-in list. Mm. And you want to deliver something that's irresistible. But if you think that the only kind of opt-in you can offer is a ebook or a free consultation, I got news for you. There are 44 other exciting ways to deliver a gift that will entice them. Excuse me. So this is 44 ways to seduce your next client from stages, podcasts, radio shows, and all kinds of other things. So grab this, and it's going to open your eyes as to how to attract new people into your community.
Love it. Just that alone, how to have a lead gen to begin the engagement. Jackie, thank you so much for your brilliance, your insight, your energy, and your friendship and partnership and all good things. So everyone, until next time.
Empowering women on a global scale. This has been Powerful Women Today with Carolina Billings. To learn more about how you can join and transform your life and the lives of women everywhere with professional speaking, publishing, podcasting, and web TV, visit powerfulwomentoday.com. Remember to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you like to listen and watch your podcasts.